back, even in middle school, I began to get diagnosed with astigmatism. And they said, okay, you're going to need specialty contact lenses. No problem, it's not a big deal, you can still find them. And so, your vision kind of gets wonky, but the contact lenses were correcting it and just got stronger. And then was fine like that until about my sophomore year in college. And then it wasn't so much fine. So I went back and they said, this is more than astigmatism. This is the beginnings of keratoconus. And right now it's not too bad, it's not going to advance, and we don't think it should, so you should be still fine in these lenses. So then I actually studied abroad, and one day I couldn't get the contact lens in this eye for anything. It just wasn't going on. And I was like, I don't know what's happening, so I just had to pop my glasses on. And I was like, oh, guess I'll just have to wear my glasses till I got home. So I wore my glasses until I got home, and then I went to my eye care professional back home in Cary, and they said, oh, well, this is advanced pretty quickly. We didn't realize that. And I was like, oh, okay. So then they sent me to Duke, and they did a topographical map of my eye, and at that time, Intax was recommended for me, but I was scared of surgery at that point in time, so they were like, well, we can see what we can do. So they never could fit me with a lens. They could fit me with one in this eye, but I could never really got fit with a lens. And so then, I went that way for a long time, and they said, okay, well, now this eye is so bad that we think you're going to need a corneal transplant. So I was like, okay, well, if the doctor's telling me I need a corneal transplant, I did it. They didn't warn me enough about it, and I tell everybody this. They don't warn you enough about what you're getting into when you're getting a corneal transplant. That literally is somebody cutting out a part of your eye and putting in a new part of your eye, and then you have issues with rejection and ulcer. I had a lot of issues with the corneal transplant after I had it, and I went through all that for my vision to never get better.
I looked at your old records, and you were 2,400 before the surgery.
Yeah.
And then you were 2,400 after the surgery.
Yeah. So I literally feels like I didn't do it for anything. I went through, because it was painful. It's not easy, and then there was a discomfort. So I was like, why did I even? But anywho, so then a couple months ago, my corneal transplant doctor, with all this trying to fiddle around with sutures, I guess he gave up. He said, well, I think you need a contact lens on that eye now. And I was like, good to know. Thanks. So I went to their doctor, but she was like, yeah, we don't take VSP, and this is going to cost $650 a lens. And I'm like, let's see about that. And so I said, well, what are the options? She's like, well, I'm the best one in Charlotte, so I don't think you're going to find anybody else to do it. And I was like, well, I got Google. We'll figure that out. And I found Dr. Murkison. Through her wavefront corneal molding, I just went to Google and it said Keratoconus scleral lenses and fitting. That was my first thing, Keratoconus scleral lens fitting. And a lot of people popped up, but when I called, I would call and ask questions. I knew my doc was 9, and when they couldn't quite answer the question to the way that I was like, because I'd been doing this for a while, and I was like, I don't think you're going to be able to help me. So she was the first person who, when I talked to, she goes, I can help you. I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I can help you. And then I had my records faxed over. She's like, we can take care of this. And it was the first time that I was like, maybe somebody can actually help me. It would be great. And she'll tell you the story. When I first came here, I bought my boyfriend because I've gone to so many doctors that couldn't help me. And then I was so excited for this one that if she said she couldn't help me, I knew I was going to be upset and I couldn't drive home.
And then you told me that story, and I said, I need your boyfriend. And you said, yeah, I might need him to drive me home if I'm crying. I said, you won't be crying, don't cry.
And
no crying.
And when I left, there were tears, but not in a bad way. It was because I actually thought I was going to get, I was like, I think she can actually help me. This is pretty awesome.
It is a process.
Yeah.
We have to take the measurements.
Yeah.
Measure all 11,000 points on your cornea, so it did take a little while to do that. But I'll never forget when you put it in for the first time, and you were, because your option before in the right eye, you weren't seeing anything because you had corneal transplant.
Yep.
in your left eye, you had this small hard contact lens over that keratoconic eye, and it hurt every day. And your eye would get red, and you'd say you'd have to come home from work and take that lens out.
And then there were days where I couldn't go into work because it hurt so much and my eye was so red or whatever that I was just like, I'm not putting this in. I can't put it in. And so I would literally have to work from home, and I couldn't do anything because that if I didn't have that in, there's no point in me driving. I'd hurt somebody. I would hurt somebody and myself. So
we fit your left eye first.
Yeah.
I remember that, and you said to me the first time after you came back, and you said I could work a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
Because and I thought, who's excited about working a 16-hour day? But you said it month end.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be the slacker that had to leave early because your eye hurt so bad. So
because that's what it was. Like essentially, like everyone's there pulling the eye oil, but. My coworkers understood because they saw my eyes. Like, they would say, like, you need to take that thing out. Like, they would see it and they'd be like, yeah, just take it. You look uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable looking at you. So, just take that out and go home. So, I was like, okay.
And I thought it was neat what you said this time, speaking of your eye being red, and how your mother now, when she was visiting, said that your eyes weren't red now.
My eyes have not been this clear in years. To where she was like, I forgot how pretty your eyes were. And I was like, thank you.
That's nice.
Nice to know. But yeah, so this practice has really helped me live my life again. Like literally, like after I got the lenses, I went to the mountains and looked at the leaves, and I could see actual leaves on the tree, not just like a haze of green, but I could see individual leaves. I could see a cardinal in a red tree. I've never been able to do that. I haven't, and it was just like. The level that I could see was astounding to me, and it makes me appreciate. It makes me appreciate all those years I couldn't because I didn't. I know what that's like now. People take it for granted that you can see a bird in a tree. I don't.
You read 2020 today for me, by the way, just so you know.
Which is
2,400.
Nobody would ever thought that could have happened for me. So.
It was neat for me because your right eye, your dominant eye, is the eye that we when we finally put that contact lens in and got both eyes going. And I told you the story. I said you looked down at my stool and you went, the wheels are fat and wide, like you were seeing a you had depth perception for the first time. So I told you didn't know what a 3D movie was.
I still haven't gone to see one, and I need to do that.
So
I do need to do that. That's on my checklist of things to do to go see a 3D movie. So. Yeah.
But I'm glad that the night drive, and you were mentioning coming over tonight, being better for you. So
yeah, I couldn't drive at night for like a long time. Like I wouldn't do it. I was like, no, because I think I'm gonna hurt myself or others. Because the glare from oncoming cars would be horrendous. And then not only that, but only having one eye, and then I couldn't even really read the street signs properly. So driving at night was just something if you weren't dying, and I needed to go to the hospital. You couldn't get me out of the house once the sun went down to drive because I was just uncomfortable doing it. But now, I was like, wow, because different ways redirected me because there was horrible traffic on Wilkinson. I had to go through a neighborhood, and I had no problem seeing the street signs when they came up. Like, it'd be like 1,000 feet. I know, it's weird how you adapt to life without being able to see. I know what 1,000 feet is just by feeling it in my car because I couldn't trust the street sign. Because I couldn't see it. I was like, wait, 7,000 feet? I was like, 1,000 feet is about 5 seconds. Okay. And then that's when I would turn. Because I couldn't see. But this I could see. I could see all the street signs where I needed to turn. It was kind of crazy. And then in the dark, like, I see in the dark. Not just like I can see, but I see definitions of things. It's not just black. Before, when I used to ride behind cars, if I was riding behind cars at night, I couldn't tell you what make or model that car was. All I saw was the red things in the back of the car. I can tell what kind of a car it is driving at night. I don't just see red lights.
People with keratoconus have decreased contrast sensitivity and increased glare, and so that's what you were experiencing. So that's why you're the difficulty at night. And so correcting that, obviously getting you from 2,400 to 2020, but then correcting that made such a difference for you. But it's just been so fun to see your personality change from when you first came in here so timid and so nervous and brought your boyfriend thinking, am I going to be crying on the way home, to see you now. The whole staff loves to see you walk in because you're like, you're so you're radiant. It's exciting for us to watch the transformation from somebody that to see. So We appreciate you sharing your story because it's just
Thank you. I honestly can't say thank you enough to, like, you changed my life, like, literally. And that's not something that, like, is a, platitude or, but you literally changed my life because I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know all the things, like, when you look at somebody and you talk to them and you can see the little inflection in their eyes of what they're communicating. A lot of that I couldn't see. I could listen to somebody's voice and I could tell the tone of voice, but I couldn't really see, like, what you were trying to say with your eyes. I can do that now. So if somebody's being sarcastic or, I can pick up on so much more nonverbal cues than I could before. It's like, there's so many things I didn't know that I didn't know that I was missing. So that kind of thing. So you really did. You changed my life much for the better, and I am so excited that you took me on and you said we can do this, and you did. And it might have taken a couple tries, but you didn't give up. And that's more important, I think, than anything, is because some doctors are like, well, I just can't. This is going to be too much. I just can't. Or just get a corneal transplant and we'll worry about it later. Just the fact that you took the time to actually, like, I think there's something we can do this better. It means a lot, because sometimes they're just trying to get you in and out. And you took lunch breaks. You were late to make sure that I was able to fit me in, because I have a crazy work schedule. I mean, I can't thank you enough. So I really
It's been
can't.
fun. It's been fun for us.